Hi friends, today I thought I'd pop on because I'm going to do some more projects and I've got some more fabric to try and de-stash. I'm wearing, I'll just show you the dress I'm wearing because there's we have got a YouTube video out on this, and this was my apron dress, and I did this with a duvet cover, and you might actually notice this little bit here, which is the bottom. And I used it on the other dress as well, and that's for the bottom of my hem, and patch pockets with a rick-rack and rick-rack around the sleeve line. So I'm going to pop you that video because I did this, I think, early this year or late last year, and obviously it wasn't famous with the Great British Sewing Bee or anything, so I did this a long time ago, but you might actually want to look at that video as well of this little upcycle. So yeah, so hi, hope you're doing really well. Hope you're doing really well. I'm going to pop on today and show you my next couple of projects that I'm making, and I hope you'll enjoy them. We've done this Ellis dress last week on the Merchant and Mills. I'm going to redo that because I really love the pattern. Okay, and I'm going to use a duvet cover. It's a reversible one. One side is this fabric. It was a double size, like so. And then the other side of it was this lighter check. And I thought together, obviously they marry really well. And I thought that would look really, hopefully great for autumn. And we'll have the top half here in this one, and then the gathered skirt on the bottom half with this design, and it'd be a really lovely combination for autumn. I hope you agree. So I'm going to make that out of a double duvet. So I've ripped it all apart and ripped all the messy seams. I've just got all the fabric cloth now, and because you're buying it as a duvet cover, you do get all your washing instructions and everything on. So it usually tells you, and this is a next duvet cover, and it says that it's 52% polyester, 48% cotton. So I presume that's kind of like a polycotton, but it's got a lovely, nice sort of feel about it. So I'm really excited to make that. So I'm going to cut it out and I'll give you a reveal at the end. I'm not going to go through how the process is because you'll see that you've already got a previous video on the Ellis and Hattie, of course. And hope you like this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. I hope you can like and subscribe to it. It means so much. Comment below if there's any tips or suggestions that you have. I really appreciate it. I've had some nice tips and comments recently, and I really appreciate those, so thanks to everybody. And please subscribe so it helps my channel grow, etc. And yeah, okay, let's get on. Hi friends, how are you today? And I say friends because I'm getting to know quite a lot of you now with your comments, and I thank you for that because it's so lovely to get feedback. And also to hear where you're from and what you're doing and what projects you've got on at the go, and if you like my videos as well, and lots of tips as well, because people often leave tips, and which is fantastic for the next time. You know, because as you know, I only started doing this sewing with this YouTube channel a couple of months ago, and I'm really loving working through different patterns and learning as I go. And I think if we learn together, or we go through the pattern and sew together, hopefully, if you are a very advanced sewer, you'll probably be able to tell me a little bit of a tip what to do next time. But if you aren't an advanced sewer, and like me, you are starting out, or you're very rusty like myself, just did a few things when I was about 18, 19, and then left it until this year to do dressmaking and clothing, you will hopefully be inspired to come along and try these patterns if you like how they look. So yeah, So with that in mind, let's crack on. First of all, I need to put my glasses on so I can see the camera, because with this mid-age, all sorts of things are going wrong, aren't you'll hopefully relate to that if you are sort of similar midlife age like myself. And the eyesight's not as good as it used to be. I always pride myself on great eyesight, but it's been going downhill a little bit, so forgive me if the camera is a bit wonky, or you know, I'm slightly out of the line of the camera sometimes. Oh dear me, I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you're all well, and I hope you've got some kind of project on the go and it's going really well too. If you're new here, hello and welcome, and I hope you like this video and give it a thumbs up, and also, if you like, please leave a comment on, you know, if it's something that you might try, or if there's something that you are thinking about doing, let me know. I've made this particular dress before, and I wanted to share this with you because, you know, if you've been here a bit now, I have got quite a bit of fabric that I'm trying to use up, and that's almost what I'm doing on this YouTube channel, trying to use different fabrics out of a stash. And so what I did do is, enthusiastically, when I bought this pattern, which everyone said that they love and they think it looks great, but as you know, I've said before, I'm a little bit unsure about wearing things that are really baggy on me, because I think it really adds bulk to my figure. I'm trying to diet again now because, well, the last year, I think since about September, I wasn't really watching what I was eating. I think I've put about 1.5 stone back on, which isn't good, is it, for your health? And it also isn't good for how you feel in your clothes. So that's my personal feeling. I'm not inflicting that idea on anybody else, but that's how I am feeling. It may be that we've, you know, grown up to think that the perfect size, and if you're not the perfect size, the pressure's on, but it's also a health thing. I have very bad varicose veins. I don't want to waffle on and tell you all about myself and bore you, but I want to lose some weight. So this particular dress I didn't think did me any favours currently, but I started with all the fabric thinking, yeah, this particular fabric will look great in this style of dress, and this style of dress is that one that I'm not 100% confident in, but I'm going to make it anyway because it's all cut out now. And if I lose the 1.5 stone, then it may well be that it will look great on me and I feel a bit better. So I hope you can get a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a nice glass of water or whatever you like, and sit down, and I hope you enjoy this video. I've not done a video recently because, well, I've had a wonderful trip. I must tell you about it briefly. And that's the reason why I didn't put a video out last week, and I apologise for that. But one of my sons took me on a beautiful trip. He paid for everything, and he took me to Switzerland first, and then after a glorious 3 days in Switzerland, we went on a plane. I didn't know where I was going. I said I'd like a surprise. He'd already pre-booked everything. I got in, checked in at the airport in Zurich, and didn't look at the flights, didn't know what the flight number was, of course, and I was able to check in, and he had the boarding card on his phone and given my passport, and then stepped back so they knew I was who, you know, the name and the face, etc. for the booking, but I didn't look anywhere to see where this flight was going, etc. So I was lucky there. And then we checked and went, obviously we've been through customs, or we went through customs after that, and then we got to the gate, and it wasn't until to the gate, half an hour before we were due to fly, that I saw that it was Naples in Italy. So we went to Naples in Italy, and in the past we've been flown to Naples in Italy and gone on to Positano and Sorrento and Amalfi Drive and Capri. this was over 20 years ago. I've not been on holiday abroad for 22 years, so crikey, it was really exciting. He bought me a passport, he did everything. It was just his treat to his special mum, and it's touched my heart like it would anybody, wouldn't it? And it's a memory that I'll have for the rest of my life and treasure, and I feel very emotional about it. And he paid a fortune and put me in the grandest hotel in Naples overlooking the water, and we had a time of our life. It was amazing. I sat on the balcony and watched people, you know, there was music from, it was so romantic, and the music from the bars in the evening, the sunset came down and the boats float on the water. I did a little bit of drawing and painting in my journal, and we walked around in museums and art galleries, and it was absolutely glorious and so memorable. So these things are cherished moments, aren't they, in our lifetime, and yeah, that's really perked me up, and yeah, lovely. So yeah, 20 odd years I've waited to go abroad, so it's not like something that I do all the time, so I feel very grateful and very blessed. So apologies why I haven't done a video, of course, and that was the reason why. So hopefully we're back to our regular videos. If you're new here, I often do videos on all sorts of things to do with the home. So these are sewing videos I've got a lot of cooking videos and making things and upcycling things, painting and doing all sorts of things within the home. I hope you subscribe, and thank you if you do, it means so much. And let's crack on instead of me waffling on, of course, but I hope everybody is well. So yeah, leave me a comment and tell me what you're doing, because it's lovely and it's inspiring for me. If you know, you say you're going to do something, I think, oh yeah, I'd like to do that, you know, so we can inspire each other, can't we? So back to the Ellis and Hattie dress, which you've seen me do before, and I might have mentioned this before when I showed you some of my fabric stash. Let's have a look. I've done a little bit of it already, and I have filmed some, so I'll try and find that video. But you know, Google, oh, I don't know, they said to me, you can't have any emails shortly because your phone is full up. I don't know about you, but I'm always taking pictures, and oh dear, I've jammed it up again, and I'm not going to pay for this Google storage. You know, I'm not. So I've been through my photos and tried to delete quite a few, just to get to it all. So I'm hoping I haven't deleted the part of this video that I did a couple of weeks ago, because I started it all off. So of course I've done this top bit. If you remember, you have your front piece, and you do some shoulder darts and some bust darts on this, and then on the back the first thing you do is make this rule or whatever. It's like a little part that will connect it. When you actually put it on, you'll have a button there, and then this seam will get sewn together, and then the gathered skirt is fitted on the bottom. So we've got that bit sorted, and I've put facing in it as well. And I'd love one of these serges, you know, because, you know, I do zigzags on all the edges inside, the old-fashioned way, but these people with these serges, they make them look even more professional, don't they? I'd like a serger, so I'd be proficient enough to make it more professional. So I've cut all these out, and it was a duvet cover. It was a new one that I bought, and the bottom, the inside was different from the outside, as often is the case with duvets. But I thought it would make a beautiful coordinating dress. Also the sleeves, and then they will be in the material that matches the skirt, so it'll bring it all together, won't it? It won't look odd. Last night I tried to make some different sleeves out of two of them, the top and the bottom, and I'm going to have a go at making a huge big puff sleeve, one that is elasticated at the bottom and is really puffy, to go onto this dress, and we'll see how that goes. So this is a trial, you know, and we'll see if we'll put the standard sleeve in, which is on the pattern, or if this works with my guessed pattern piece that I've guessed really and made huge, and the huge bottom to elasticate and gather up, so it'll be a really frilled top sleeve and a nice elasticated bottom sleeve. And that's what I like to go with this dress this time, to make it a little bit different. So I'm having a little gamble, aren't I, guys, to see if I can do this. I'm not sticking with just the pattern this time, so I'm trying to push myself out of the box, if you like, and see if I can improve. We might make a mistake with it. You know, I might have overlooked something and it might not fit, or it might not look right. We'll just see. But you know, it's not cost me £60 or £70 for the fabric, so you know, if that goes wrong, we'll take that big puffy sleeve out and we'll go with the original one. You know, it doesn't matter. It'll be a bit of fun, won't it? I just wanted to show you as well a couple of new patterns that I've got. And I've got to be careful because you know, I am conscious that, you know, as crafters and sewers, we do tend to get inspired and then buy something, and then get lots and lots of things, don't we? And I'm trying to get rid of a lot of things, you know, declutter, not clutter. It's so tempting though. But anyway, I'm treating myself to this lovely pattern. Let me show you before we start. I've got a few patterns. I don't know if I'll show you them all. Where are they? Here we go. So yeah, it's building up again. I did donate some. I recently got this one, the Birder. Yeah, I got this one, Birder 5975. And I thought this was a really nice one because it's shaped in at the waist. So, you know, instead of these big ones, although on the drawing it's still got an inverted pleat and it looks fairly wide, but I think they must have put some kind of elastication in that, and it's a super easy. So this will be a good one to make, I think. Won't it? You need interfacing. I must buy this interfacing. Every time I do a video, it says interfacing, and I say to you, I've not got it. And I don't know, I must go. Because I'm now living in the country and in the sort of middle of nowhere, I don't get to towns much, and then I forget I need interfacing from the shop. But I've scooped some lovely vintage type patterns recently. So if you go on Etsy and you go in the charity shop, there's lots of places like that you can find good patterns. And this one is a Pebble Mill. Anybody in England who's of, you know, my age, sort of 50 onwards, will remember Pebble Mill at 1. And it's a pattern. It's a so easy pattern. BBC Pebble Mill at 1. I thought that was hilarious because I didn't know if they did it, but I suppose I'm too young to remember what they actually did. I remember Mum watching it, but you know, it was like a variable show into with all sorts of things on it. But what I did like was this pinafore type dress with pockets. I thought I'd like to make that. And then there's like a waistcoat. Now, if that waistcoat is fitted, I thought that would be ideal on these very baggy dresses I've just made, because it might pull it in a little bit more for me. So that's that pattern. I don't know if you'd be able to get that if you were interested anymore, because I bet it is very rare. And it says 1983, Hilary James. And then I got this from a charity shop for 75p. And it's a style pattern, which are very old, aren't they? 3294. Lovely pleated skirt, nice length, with a fixed waistband and a zipper pattern. So I thought I might make that. And then this one, 50p. And I thought that this middle one, they're all lovely, but this middle one I thought was really nice. It says size 18, so I just cut it down, make it smaller. Squarish neckline, little puff sleeves, and then there's some like pleats. Battoon neckline, front tucks, elasticated waistline, side seam pockets and self-tie. It's a 4277 Butterick, and I thought that was really lovely, 50p. And then this one, 75p, a 90. But you know, you could make that style in a summer dress. If you're going abroad, oh gosh, the one thing I did find, I'm not looking really, really brown, am I? I've got a bit of a tan, but it was 37 degrees in Naples, 37 degrees. So we could only go out for about 2 hours, and I had a sun hat on, I was just sweating. It was awful, really. You know, I'm not built for that sort of hot weather. So I didn't get a tan, which I was quite disappointed about, really. I'd like a little tan. I think I've got a bit of a tan, but it's nice to have a tan if you go somewhere. Otherwise, it's like you haven't been. But it was so hot. We just had to take taxis most of the places and then walk around as much as we can, and then jump in the taxi and go to another castle or art gallery or whatever. It was just so hot. But I had to go then because my son had to take me at that time. Jura was fantastic because they have all these water fountains. So we were walking a few metres and then just literally throwing water all over the back of our necks and our head. I mean, I didn't take many photos because I just looked like a drowned rat. But I kept cool there, it was great. But in Naples there wasn't any of those fountains all over the place to do that, you know. So that was quite difficult, and it was a lot hotter there, about 4 more degrees. Yeah, so it was hot, but fantastic. Anyway, I'm going off subject again, aren't I? But oh yeah, so I took a whole wardrobe of lovely clothes that I planned to wear, and I actually only wore 2 dresses because they were thin cotton, flowy dresses. One of them I'd only just decided to take at the last minute. Thankfully I did, because what I did is I wore it one day and then I washed it, hung it out on the balcony, and it was dry the next day. Just give it a quick iron and I wore it again. And I had, you know, quite a few dresses in the suitcase that never came out because they would have made me far too hot, you know, which was a shame. So I think if you're going to a hot country, actually something like this in a lovely cotton or very sort of thin polycotton would be ideal, you know, because, you know, it could be a dress anyway. So I thought I'll have that. And then this was my extravagant one. This wasn't from a charity shop, but this is a Bella tea dress by Liberty. The pattern is LIB 102. It's got average level, so hopefully I'll be able to manage it. It's got beautiful like neckline, some pleats going off, more fitted at the waist, and then just a flowing skirt with some nice sleeves. And so that is the back, if you can see it. Hope you can see it all right. I do turn the camera around in the opposite direction because I need to see the camera filming, otherwise I don't know what I'm filming and you'd be out of focus or you'd be up here because I'm this like mad 50-year-old woman who can only cope with it like this. So apologies if you think it's back to front, which it is probably. I know someone did say you've got it turned around the wrong way, but that's the only way I can do it, I'm afraid. Yeah, so this is going to be really nice. So I need some nice fabric for that, don't I? But I will make it, I think, out of something cheap. I might just get some random fabric, see how it looks, fits. I'll do a video on that as well, as with this one as well, if you want to, you know. And I've still got this one, which is quite similar. This Butterick S9653, which is beautiful as well, prairie dress. So we've got lots to do, haven't we? Apologies for chatting again, like I always do. But, you know, I like a chatty video. I'm a chatty person. And I hope, you know, if you're putting it on, you feel like you want a bit of company and hear somebody chattering away. Not everybody is out and about talking to people all the time, you know, so yeah, I'm telling myself that hopefully you'll enjoy me having a little natter. Okay, let's get on, otherwise we'll never ever finish this video. And I'll be apologising next week that I've still not got a video out, so let's get on with this. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm going to try these sleeves now, because I want to see what they're going to be like. So let's try this impromptu sleeve I've made and see how it goes. So what I've done, if you see, I've cut out the main pattern piece and I've added lots of inches onto the side, and then I've put another panel on the bottom to make it longer, because I reckon that it would be nice if I put it onto my sleeve like that, and then obviously if it was elasticated it'd push it up a little bit, wouldn't it? It'll hopefully come to here and it'll all be scrunched up here like that, and all be puffed up like that, and hopefully it'll be really nice. It'll just come to just probably around my elbow, above or below, but not much. So what we're going to have to do is do a gather stitch all the way around the top where it will fit into the seam, double gather it along that seam edge at the top, and then we'll need to put elastic on the bottom, make a channel, get some elastic in it so it scrunches it all up. I've got a dress on now with like a frill. This is what gave me the idea. We're going to do a gather stitch. Okay, so that's that. Just a point to make, if you haven't seen my other videos, please have a look back at the other video that has the Ellis and Hattie dress pattern in, because it's got the full instructions from the beginning to the end on that. I don't want to repeat it all through again, or even bore you, but this is slightly different because I'm changing the sleeves on it and making it with a puff sleeve, which I thought was quite different, of course. So the Ellis sleeves, just a quick overview. It said work 2 rows of E-stitch on the sleeve head between the front and back notches. Oh, I've done it all actually. I think with it being like double the width will be alright. And then do with right sides together, stitch the sleeve seam, neaten the edge of the seam with an overlock or zigzag and press open. But we need to get that bottom bit with elastic first, don't we? So right sides together, we've done all the top gathering. We've not pulled it together yet, of course, but so what I'm going to do is get the cords out so we can get access to that, and I'm going to leave that little bit open so I can manipulate it later on and just sew this bottom bit together. And I want to make sure that these seam edges are exact when I sew it. Keep it all together, and I made a little pin cushion ages ago, which was really simple. If you want me to see how I did that using an old teacup, let me know and I'll do a short video for you. It's quite a pretty pin cushion. Seems some very nice ideas for pin cushions, and some of the ladies on the sewing bee have got these ones that go onto your wrist like a wristband. Let me know if you've got that and if you think it's a lot better than just having a pin cushion on the, you know, like I have on the side, and if so, why? If you can let me know in the comments. And I'm not going to run that stitch right to the very bottom because again we've got that channel that we need to put in for our elastic later. So it's just a case of doing the side seams but allowing so we can manipulate the elastic at the bottom. Let's do the next one now. Same thing. Right sides together, get those seams and patterns matching all along the inside before you pin it. Make sure it's bang on, very important, otherwise you'll notice it. I can't believe now all the shops are kitting out for Halloween in August. It's just a bit of a crazy thing, isn't it? And then we could do this, make a channel, fold it where fold it before, and then turn it up, zigzag the first fold and then turn it back up again, running stitch, leaving a gap at the edge to put in the elastic. Turn that over so it gives it a lot of room to put some elastic in. So I'm going to measure the length so I get both sleeves the same length. That's why I added more on the bottom, so I've got plenty of room to do this. Some people are using these clips now, I've noticed, instead of pins, using clips, which I think if you've got children and pets are a wonderful idea, because my husband's always saying to me, there's a pin on the floor, there's a pin on the floor, be careful. It seems to be that I keep dropping pins as I'm sewing. Do you use them? Where did you get yours from? I'm usually finding about July all the shops have decided that's it for the summer and start selling off all the summer stuff, you know, and almost it feels like, oh, summer's over and the season's over, you know, because everyone's now concentrating on the next season, so it almost feels rushed, which you've got to sort of say, no, it's still, you know, it's August, it's our summer, this still, you know, we don't need to be thinking about Halloween and all autumn, cold months. We want a bit of sunshine here. I know many of you in America and you have a pleasant summer season, which is a prolonged one, which must be lovely that you can sort of organise and feel like you're going to the beach and you can have a party. And in England everything is just like, we want a barbecue. It might happen, it might not, depends on the weather, not guaranteed. See all these lovely images of people sat long summer nights, sitting outdoors every night under the pergolas, eating al fresco. Lovely, lovely. So I hope wherever you are, you're doing that and enjoying the summer. Maybe tomorrow or next week it will be beautiful here. Keeps them on our toes. Right, let's zigzag that bottom. So do you have a serger? And if so, why did you buy it? And what benefits do you get from it? I know they are quite expensive. They're worth the money. I don't think I would have the space for one, really. So you know we're talking about using up other materials. I'm looking in sort of thrift stores, op shops, charity shops, whatever you call it. Because, like I thought, the Great British Sewing Bee, which is on in England, it's just finished now, really zoomed into upcycling and recycling. There's been this huge impact on the charity shops where they're pretty much sold out of all their kind of curtains and duvet covers. And I had a look. I was in another town yesterday, which I don't frequent normally. So I went to meet an old friend who was travelling home, and she'd been on holiday in a nearby county, and it was wonderful to get together. But I thought I'd go around the charity shops and have a little look and see if there was any more material. Yes, I know you're going to say you are supposed to be decluttering and not getting more material, but I do need some for those new patterns, don't I? So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But I couldn't find anything. I found a few things in kiddies fabrics and some curtain fabric in designs that I just wouldn't like. But there was hardly anything there. That's the point. Very little there. So I think we need to think outside the box again and have a little look and see other things now, what we can do. Because unless I go to lots of charity shops more frequently, I'm not going to find that as a source regularly for my material. The volume of people who are all already going and having a little look, I think. And I had a word with the lady in this charity shop, and she said, oh yes, she says, it flies off the shelf now, and we've had stuff there for months and months and had to donate it to our rags in the past because nobody, well not nobody, but she says hardly anybody bought stuff in the past. She says, but now everyone keeps asking, have we got any, you know, curtains and duvet covers and fabrics? It's a really big thing now, she said. And also what I did find, because I was looking at clothes, and I found so many dresses, because that's all really I like, but all the dresses seem to be from China, sheen and thin, like flimsy kind of cheap material, and nothing, I can't say nothing can I, but hardly any good brands, nice fabric, you know. Lots and lots of this Chinese import dresses that are very flimsy, you know, and not great. I don't know if you've noticed that. Yes, it's great to thrift and not buy things, but is that going to be that in 5 or 10 years, if we don't buy from the brands that make great clothing in England and wherever you live, that they will go out of fashion and it'll just only be imported stuff that we can, you know, buy or get our hands on. So, you know, we've got to think long term on this. Support your country's brands. Buy something that you know you're going to use forever or a very, very long time, and not fast fashion, so that you're still investing in these companies that make great clothing in your country. And then we'll still have those good clothes for the future. And the charity shops might be also stocking those good clothes, because if people stop buying those good clothes, they're not going to be producing anymore. And the investment will hopefully be, if we are wise and we pick the items that really suit us and that we love, we will keep a lot longer, and it won't impact as much as this fast fashion does. Just a thought for today. So, sleeves on the bottom now are good. I'm going to now turn them up, measure them up, turn them properly, make a channel and get some elastic in them. So I'm going to press on, and I'm going to turn this over, put the elastic in it, and then fit the sleeves, ruche the dress, hem it, and then it will be finished. And I'm hoping that these puffy sleeves will really, really suit this dress. Right, so I've measured with elastic around the bottom part of around my elbow area. And I'm going to make it just so that it's near enough, it's the right width really. I'll just take probably a tiny bit out, because what I don't want is it to be tight, you know, throughout the day and then irritating me. And then I need to put that, you see the difference is quite a lot. and it'll hopefully gather it right in. So I've made the actual turn up in the tube, put a pin, safety pin on this and then thread it through and then tie it and sew it together. So I've left a gap on the sleeve so I can pop the elastic in. Right, so before anything, let's get that sewn together quickly. A few times on the edges. Right, let's see what's that like from the right side now, see how it looks. So that'll be what it should look like at the bottom edge. And it's nice, and it feels nice and comfy, that, and nice and gathered, so yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. We'll do the same for the other one now, and then obviously we've got the gathered top to put in the seam, and the sleeve should look a bit like that. So yeah, it's all coming together. Right, so what we're doing now is doing the side seams, so that will allow us to then put the sleeves in and then flip it to a zigzag stitch. Right, so then we can set the sleeves in now, and on the pattern it just has worked 2 rows of this stitch to do the gathers, which we've done already, haven't we, earlier on. And so we need to set the sleeves in with the right sides together, pin the sleeve into the armhole, drawing up the gathers, and then stitch in place. So pin it further down away from the gathers so I can manipulate it in a moment, just so I know where we are. Got right sides together, that's lovely. So we'll go for the bottom seams together and just pin them down a bit further down so you know you've got the bottom edges together, but do it quite far down so you don't go anywhere near that gathering when you're pulling it in a minute. And then pull it right out so you know the very top, and then position that in the middle of the top seam. Go down quite a lot, down here, and pin it so it just secures it out of your way of your gathers, but when you start gathering, as I said, it's not going to move it, and then we can do it equally. That's lovely. Right, I think we're on the right way. See, always keep checking, because this is the time to have a look at it. You don't want any one area all gathered in and then a big line of straight stitching. You might find at the very top you sometimes have that bit of a patch where it's not being pulled in. Right, that looks like it's probably okay. I need to just pull it out a bit, and then we'll pin it in place. I normally do it on that side, but today I'm going to do it on this side, because in the past when I've done it on the opposite side, I've found that these gathers have gone all wonky further down. So be very careful when you sew around this part, when you're sewing the gather stitches to the seam. And sometimes I'll just pin it almost like it's a part of the gathers a pleat, because that way it keeps it down when I'm stitching. If you just sew on this side, you can't see what's going off, you see, but if you sew on the side where it's gathered, at least you can see if it's been sewn correctly down. And I'm excited to see how this looks, because as I said, I've kind of tweaked this pattern and made them hopefully a bit more puffier, the sleeves, than they would normally. Hopefully it'll work. As I said, just increase the width of the top of the sleeve and the width of the bottom around my elbow so that I can gather both in. Puffier and baggier than the pattern. If you don't like it, then just stick with your pattern. That's the beauty of actually making patterns a few times, because then you can start tweaking them and playing about with the pattern, and it's not as hard as you think. A lot of them are very similar, to be fair, you know, because I like this sort of style at first, sort of baggy gathered skirt, fitted bodice, or even just loose bodice gathered skirt. They tend to be very similar, so you can kind of tweak each one, and that's what comes with a bit of experience of making a pattern several times. And the beauty of that is, if you don't have expensive fabric while you're messing about trying it out, you then may well end up with, you know, something quite good. So the seams underneath and the sleeve is looking, hopefully, quite billowy, and the elastic at the bottom like I want it to. So that looks alright, that side. So I'm going to go on and do exactly the same with the other sleeve and then sew them in. Crafts are a great way to put yourself in a in the moment, you know, and concentrate on something, relaxing the mind of any worries or problems or stresses or depression, and it gives you something else to focus on and also achieve something. So it's lovely for your well-being as well. I would encourage anybody to give it a go. Ooh, right guys, look, I'm quite pleased with this. I don't know if you can see, but it's looking lovely and puffy and gathered. So obviously I'll show you the reveal, but yeah, it's looking quite nice, and a big puffy sleeve. So I've got everything on now. That's a bodice top with the sleeves and everything. Back seam done, need a button on the top, and then we're going to progress now onto the gathered skirt. I don't know about if I'm going to put the pockets in or not. I'll see how I go. I'll show you at the end. Right, so I'm just doing right side together with the skirts. I'm not putting pockets in, I've decided, on this particular dress. It's very easy, and in my last video on the Ellis dress, you'll see how to put pockets in if you choose to make it with pockets. Just doing it for quickness. And then you gather in the top, and then doing the hem. Now we'll see what it says first. I think you attach the skirt and then you do the hem after it, yeah. So, using that bottom stitching line now as my base. So very, 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 very big at the moment. I'm thinking that I might do this dress yet again and do less width to the skirt. Maybe reduce it by a good third, the width, so that there isn't as much width to the skirt, and adding more bulk will hopefully then result in a more flattering finish, hopefully for myself. I've got this lovely dress that I bought, and it's really flattering. It's got a side zip and it's quite fitted on the top, and then like ruched and layered gathered skirt, and it's so lovely. And I thought I'm going to have a go at just throwing it on the table on some tracing paper and just seeing if I can somehow get a pattern from it and make it. It's a bit daunting, I know, but you know, it's a possibility, I think. Up for a challenge. Hopefully it'll sort of encourage you to think a little bit that you don't have to stick entirely to a pattern. Or after you've seen it, when it turns out, you might think it's not worked out well and you've got to stick exactly to the pattern. We shall see. But that's the beauty. I don't mind making mistakes and, you know, saying I've made a mistake and I've done it wrong, because that's how we learn, isn't it? Right, so I've pinned it all. It's looking good. Now to sew it all together. All right, friends, so pretty much done it now. I'm just doing the hem now, but it's all coming together, and sew a button on the back, and then we'll have a try on. So here's the reveal. I'm very pleased with this one. I made it probably, it seems to be a little bit less baggy around here. I've made these big new puff sleeves, you know, that have been all the rage on the sewing bee. I'm really pleased with those. You can puff them out. You can pull the sleeves down to just on your elbow, you know, if you feel like it, or you can push them right up and then pull the sleeve back over. So I would really recommend trying that, because, you know, it gives you a nice different option, really. So I'm really pleased with that. The pattern, I think, goes lovely. You know, you've got that different design on the bottom, and then, you know, to the design on the top. I'm going to turn the camera around shortly so you can have a full length view. It's come out really nice. I'm really pleased with it. Yeah, I think I could wear this one. Also, I thought in the winter, autumn winter, you know, I'm going to try all of the dresses on with a nice sort of leather or tweed jacket, so that it pulls it in and I don't feel so frumpy, you know, because, you know, you've got to feel good, haven't you? So let's just turn this round so you can see, hopefully a little bit easier. I'm quite happy. It looks all right. I think it marries really well. And yeah, I'm pleased with this one. And I just actually think I might be able to wear it. So I hope you really enjoyed the video. Thank you as always for stopping by, and if you've watched it all through to the end, thank you so much. That's the pattern, like I said, we've done before. Check out my previous video for full instructions from beginning to end on the Ellis pattern of Merchant and Mills. This one was another sewing the dress, the Ellis still, but using a different sleeve, which I did myself, and all I did was just traced round and puffed it and made it a bit bigger to what I thought I needed, and it came out good. Yeah, it came out good. So have a play. Try it in some kind of scrappy fabric, your sleeve, and just do a mock-up of it and then pop it on, you know, around your arm and see if it looks like it's going to be what you want. And then when you know that is it, just unpick it and sew it out of your expensive material. Thank you for watching. If you liked any of those patterns that I showed you earlier on and you want me to make a specific one, leave a comment in the comment box. Okay, see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.